Okay, last stretch here in our essential review for the Unit 4 test. So write as a sum, so looking at question 17 here. So the people that set this up the correct way on the last test, this was on the last test also, did pretty well on this. And then there was a few people even during the test were like, I don't know what to do. And I said, make the boxes. And they're like, oh, okay, now I know what to do. So remember, if we see, something like this, write as a sum, you'll probably see on the instructions, it'll say using the area model, right? That means the boxes. So we're going to go ahead. We know our times tables, right? I know 5 times 5, I know 6 times 6, but I don't have memorized what's x plus 3 times x plus 9, right? So what we're going to do is find out what they're equal to by using the area model. Or like this. So multiplying x plus 3 times x plus 9. And I'm going to go ahead and multiply through and find out what the area of each of these pieces is. So x times x is x squared. Top right box, x times 9 is 9x. Bottom left box, x times positive 3 is 3x. And the bottom right box, 3 times 9 is 27. So to answer this fully, right, I have to write out what is the actual result of multiplying these things together. Well, the answer, what I get when I multiply x plus 3 times x plus 9 is all 4 of these things added together. And if I look carefully in this one, these two boxes right here can actually be combined because it's the same variable. So my final answer would be x squared plus 9x and 3x together would give me 12x plus 27. So that's my final answer. Over here we have the exact same type of question, but this time we have leading coefficients on our first term. So there's a number in front of the x. So 3x minus 2, 4x minus 5. And we're going to go ahead and do the same exact process. So top left box, 3 times 4 is 12. X times x is x squared. Top right box, 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. X. Bottom left box, negative 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. X. And the bottom right box, negative 2 times negative 5 is positive. Negative times a negative is a positive. 5 times 2 is 10. And again, those two can be combined. So the result, when I multiply 3x minus 2, the quantity, multiplied by the quantity 4x minus 5, I get all of these things added together. So 12x squared minus 15 and minus 8 would give me negative 23x's plus 10. And our very last two problems. Okay, write an equation of the line that passes through a given point. Here in 19, it's 0.4 comma negative 16, and is perpendicular to the line. So it's giving me this line right here, y equals negative 4, x minus 4, and we want a line perpendicular to that one. So we want to draw a new line with slope, right? It's going to be the opposite reciprocal. So instead of negative, it's going to be positive. And instead of 4 over 1, it's going to be 1 over 4. So a lot of people in the last test, when we had this same type of problem, they got the sign change correct, but then they forgot to flip it. So you got to remember, if it's not given to you as a fraction, that means it's over 1. So I do have to flip it. Okay, so now I am given a point that has an x coordinate and a y coordinate. And we just found out the m that we have to have, so we go ahead and plug those things in. So y equals mx plus b. Right? I am not using, I saw this a lot on the last test too. This y-intercept for the given line, right? I'm not using that at all. I'm not going to use it at all. I don't need it. Right? All I need is the slope from the original equation, so that is not going to be part of what we do here. Okay, so I know it's going to go through this point. So where the y is 16, the slope is positive. Oh, a little issue with my thing here. 1 over 4. The x is, oops, this was negative 16. I circled that and missed the sign for a second. So y equals mx is 4 plus b. Remember the b, that's what I'm trying to find out. What is the, I know the slope of the new line. I'm trying to find the y-intercept of the new line. So that's what, I'm trying to find right here. Okay, so negative 16 equals, if I multiply right across, I get 4 over 4 is 1 plus b. 1/4 of 4 is 1. And then to get the b all by itself, I need to subtract 1. So b is negative 17. Right, so I know the slope and the y-intercept. So from those two things, I can write the final equation. So 1 over 4x minus 17. All right, last one. Very exciting. Okay, so write an equation of a line that passes through the point 5, negative 55, and is parallel to the given line, y equals 2 over 5x minus 4. So we're given a line, and we want to find the equation of a new line with the slope, right? For a parallel line, the slope is going to be the same. So here, the slope is going to be exactly the same. Right? So we're going to need this later. And we know it goes through this point right here. So we know our new line will have an x, somewhere on that line there's a point where the x is 5 and the y is negative 55, right? It's going to have a whole bunch of different coordinates. That's all the line is a string of infinite coordinates. But we're going to go ahead and use this one that we know is on the line. So y equals mx plus b. The y that we know is on the line is negative 55. The slope that we borrowed from our parallel equation is 2 over 5. And the x, one of the x's that we know is on the line, goes with the 55. Y is that 5 plus b. So I might run out of space here again. Uh-oh. So that's okay. So negative 55 equals 2 times 5 is 10. 10 over 5 is 2 plus b. And to get rid of the 2, we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. And b equals negative 55 minus 50, excuse me, negative 55 minus 2 is negative 57. So my final answer, parallel line will have the same slope, so we're going to use the slope we borrowed from the first one, x, and the y-intercept we found. Right, so on the last test, I did see a few people doing this with graphing, right? They would, graph it, but I think you can see here, these numbers are pretty big, negative 55. The previous one, even negative 16 for one of the coordinates. Big numbers are going to make it difficult to graph. So really understand how to use these equations to go a lot faster. So all right, that's our final video clip. We got through all 20 questions, and you should be ready to do well in our exam.